Good evening, hello and welcome. You're with the news today, your primetime destination news, newsmakers, talking points Tuesday night. Our big talking point is coming from Maharashtra, where a senior minister, Dhananjay Munde, has finally quit after outrage over what is only described as Maha-murder. Torture and murdered a Sarpanch is what Munde's aide was accused of. Has Maharashtra's Mahaneta criminal nexus been exposed once and for all? Also on the show, Donald Trump has paused all military aid to Ukraine. What does that mean? We'll tell you more on the other side. Tonight, I want to start with a story from one of my home states, the state of Maharashtra. Now, there was a time when Maharashtra was known for its social and political reform. We can go back to Phule, Ambedkar, Agarkar, Ranade, Tilak, Gokhale. So many great names have decorated Maharashtra's social and political culture. Unfortunately, in more recent times, the state's politics has crumbled into what is best described as cash and carry power games. That's right, a cash criminal politician nexus continues to tumble out into the open. Today, a senior minister in the Devendra Fadnavis government, Dhananjay Munde, finally resigned. Officially, health reasons are cited by Munde. But truth is, the minister found himself under the scanner ever since a Sarpanch in his district was brutally murdered in December. The prime accused is a key aide of the minister who belongs to the NCP, Ajit Pawar group. And while the Fadnavis government has acted against its own ally, the question is, will a ministerial resignation be enough to break a criminal politician nexus that has corroded Maharashtra's and, dare one say, this country's politics? Tonight, a no-holds-barred discussion on that subject. But first, take a look at our top story.
A murder so gruesome, it sends shivers down your spine. Santosh Deshmukh, a Sarpanch in Maharashtra's Beed district, tortured and murdered in December last year for attempting to foil an alleged extortion bid targeting an energy company. The Mumbai police have arrested 6 accused, and India Today has accessed damning details in the charge sheet. That gives details of the photos and videos of the brutality. Santosh Deshmukh was thrashed with iron rods, sticks and iron chains. He was stripped, then tied to a car during the assault. When the victim asked for water, an accused urinated on his face and forced him to sit on the ground half naked. It did not stop there. More images emerged of the murder accused urinating on a profusely bleeding Deshmukh. He endured the torture for over 3 hours. The murder accused showed no remorse, making video and audio calls and recording multiple videos of the assault. A 41-inch gas pipe, an iron rod with 5 clutch wires, wooden sticks and 2 sharp weapons, fighter and dahakati, were used by the accused to torture Deshmukh. 6 people have been arrested for the heinous murder, while 1 is still on the run. One of the accused, Valmik Karad, is a close aide of NCP leader Dhananjay Munde. Under tremendous pressure, Munde on Tuesday stepped down as minister, citing ill health.
मैंने ये इस्तीफा स्वीकृत किया है और अगली कार्रवाई के लिए मैंने ये इस्तीफा राज्यपाल जी के पास भेज दिया है.
मी त्याचंही स्वागत करते. हा राजीनामा फार आधी व्हायला पाहिजे होता. हा राजीनामापेक्षा शपथच नाही व्हायला पाहिजे होती. तर या सगळ्या गोष्टींना पुढच्या भोगांना कदाचित सामोरं जावं लागलं नसतं. घेणाऱ्यांनी सुद्धा आधी घ्यायला पाहिजे होता. धनंजयनी सुद्धा आधी राहायला पाहिजे होता.
NCP Chief and Deputy Chief Minister Ajit Pawar ducked questions on Munde's resignation. The opposition claims law and order is failing in Maharashtra. The Maharashtra Vikas Aghadi is demanding Dhananjay Munde be made a co-accused.
मैं यही कहता हूं कि एक रेजिग्नेशन से कुछ होने वाला नहीं है. चार्जशीट अमेंड होनी चाहिए, इम्प्रोवाइज चार्जशीट आनी चाहिए, फास्ट ट्रैक कोर्ट में ये सारा मामला होना चाहिए।
हम सबका ये भी कहना है कि उनको ये जो केस चल रही है मर्डर की, उसमें अभी सह आरोपी करना चाहिए और पारदर्शक पद्धति ने, ट्रांसपेरेंट पद्धति ने उनकी वहां पे इंक्वायरी भी होनी चाहिए, ऐसा हम सबका कहना है।
The gruesome murder of the Sarpanch fighting extortion has exposed the ugly nexus between politicians and criminals in Bede, where many windmill power generation projects are coming up. Bureau Report, India Today.
Those are gruesome, gruesome pictures. Let me bring you the murder probe timeline to understand just why this case is so important. On the 6th of December, a security guard was assaulted at a windmill project site in Bede. The local strongman named Sudarshan Ghule and two others allegedly behind the assault. The Sarpanch Santosh Deshmukh then intervened. A clash ensued between the villagers and the goons. 3 days later, December 9, Santosh Deshmukh, who was a Sarpanch of a local village, was abducted and murdered, and as the visuals are now showing, was brutally tortured for 3 hours. On December 11th, a windmill firm worker filed a police complaint claiming that this was all part of a bid to extort 2 crore rupees from the company which the Sarpanch had tried to stop. The complainant named Valmik Karad, a close aide of the minister, Sudarshan Ghule and Vishnu Chate. As I said, Valmik Karad is a close aide of the minister Dhananjay Munde. On December 31st, Karad was finally arrested after he surrendered. CID filed a charge sheet on the 1st of March. Valmik Karad is accused number 1. There are 7 suspects so far, one of whom is absconding. I want to go straight across to our Mumbai bureau chief, Sahil Joshi, for more, because Sahil, we are leading with this story because what has happened in Bede, if it had happened in any other big city of this country, there would be outrage. A Sarpanch is brutally tortured and murdered in the manner that he was. What is the sense you are picking up? Is this a story that has shaken up Maharashtra, and if so, why?
Well, first of all, yes, it is completely shaken up a state like Maharashtra, because Maharashtra had only heard of such kind of stories, from the web series like Gangs of Wasseypur and similar such OTT content, but had never actually witnessed such kind of gruesome murders. And the pictures which were showing, the distinct difference from what had happened earlier and this particular murder is that the murderers were actually seen enjoying it. They were laughing it. They were recording it in their own mobile and showing it to the person who is supposed to be the person who is giving them patronage, either political or any other way. So, and the whole system is with them, the local police, because Santosh Deshmukh's relatives had first, of course, approached the police. The local police actually told them that he will come back, because they spoke to somebody from Valmik Karad, the main accused in this particular case, from his office, and then they were assured that Santosh Deshmukh will be sent back. By then, Santosh Deshmukh was already murdered. The second important thing is that all these things, happened in a broad daylight. It is not something which has happened at the VRs somewhere in the night where nobody could have seen it. This happened in the broad daylight, and apparently such kind of incidences were rampant in district of Bede, which was a very highly politically active district. Even during before Lok Sabha elections, it saw a worse kind of riots within between OBCs and the Maratha communities when the whole Maratha agitation was stirred up in Maharashtra before Lok Sabha election. So it's a very sensitive, politically and socially very sensitive district. And it had many other repercussions as well. It is the district, the political community there, specifically
right.
The people related to Valmik Karad and Dhananjay Munde were also involved in extortion. And this murder happened when somebody tried to oppose this particular extortion from the companies who are doing business in the district. So for a state like Maharashtra, which is supposedly highly urbanized state, which is supposedly highly invested state from the foreign direct investments, industrial state like Maharashtra, such kind of incidences definitely create a lot of ruckus, and specifically when it has a political patronage as well. So that's why this story became very important, and it actually shaped.
Sahil Joshi raising very important points as to why this case has shaken Maharashtra. Thank you very much for joining me and giving us some context to what has happened, just why the murder has shaken an entire state. Now, I want to go to a special guest who I spoke to earlier today. Dhananjay Deshmukh is Santosh Deshmukh's brother. He joined me from Bid. संतोष, आप मुझे ये बताइए, धनंजय मुंडे ने अपना अब इस्तीफा दिया है, क्या आपको लगता है इससे आपको संतुष्टि मिलेगी, आपको न्याय मिलेगा, यू विल गेट जस्टिस, आपको जस्टिस अब मिलने की उम्मीद है जिस तरह से आपको आपके भाई को मारा गया?
अभी जो पिछले 2.5 महीने से ये जो चल रहा था, उस टाइम जो नुकसान हुआ है हमारे फैमिली का, हमारे रिलेटिव का, गांव का, तो इनका जिम्मेदार कौन है? ये मेरा क्वेश्चन है कि इसके बारे में कौन जिम्मेदारी लेगा? मुख्यमंत्री साहब लेंगे या कौन लेगा? ये मुझे आंसर चाहिए। और मैं आपको बताना चाहूंगा कि उस टाइम जो तकलीफ हो गई ये न्याय की भूमिका में, तो उसका जो नुकसान हुआ है उसकी जिम्मेदारी लेना सरकार का है।
आप बड़ी बात कह रहे हैं, जिम्मेदार किसको रखेंगे? हु विल बी हेल्ड अकाउंटेबल? सरकार कह रही है, महाराष्ट्र सरकार की, उन्होंने 8 लोगों को अरेस्ट किया है, चार्जशीट तैयार हुई है, धनंजय मुंडे ने अब इस्तीफा दिया है, उनके करीबी वाल्मीकि कराड़ अक्यूज नंबर 1 को अरेस्ट किया गया है। क्या आपको लगता है कि न्याय हो रहा है या अभी भी आपको डाउट है कि न्याय नहीं हो रहा है? आर यू स्टिल, आपको अभी भी डर है कि न्याय नहीं हो पाएगा क्योंकि इतना पॉलिटिकल प्रेशर है इस केस में?
अभी आने वाले जो टाइम है, आने वाला उस टाइम पता चल जाएगा कि न्याय मिलने वाला है या नहीं मिलने वाला है। अभी तो रिजाइन हो गया है, जो पॉलिटिकल लीडर का जो काम होना था हमारे जिले में, तो वही प्रॉपर नहीं हुआ है, क्योंकि ये जो दरिंदे लोग हैं, उन्होंने जो गलत काम किए हैं, उनका समर्थन देने वाले लोग बहुत ज्यादा है और उनको सही या गलत ये बताने वाले लोग कम है। तो उनका जो ये गुनेगारी का जो क्राइम का जो सिलसिला है वो बहुत बड़ी तादाद से चल रहा था और उसका जो नुकसान है हमारे फैमिली को भुगतना पड़ रहा है।
आप बड़ी बात कह रहे हैं, आप कह रहे हैं वाल्मीकि कराड़ को पूरी तरह से एक तरह से राजनीतिक संरक्षण था, वो धनंजय मुंडे के बहुत करीबी थे। क्या आपको लगता है कि ये एक तरह से मंत्री जो है, क्योंकि धनंजय मुंडे का नाम चार्जशीट में नहीं है, क्या आपको लगता है ये सही है? किसने ये, क्या ये केवल वाल्मीकि कराड़ ने करवाया या उसके बड़े लोग हैं? ये क्राइम पॉलिटिशियन का एक तरह से नेटवर्क है।
अभी अटैच प्रॉपर्टी या सब जो उनका जो मिलना जुलना था सब काम में, सब प्रॉपर्टी में, तो ये सब पूछताछ होके इसके बारे में गवर्नमेंट को ही उसको न्याय देना है और हम इंतजार करेंगे कि हमको न्याय होना चाहिए।
आप जो आपका जो परिवार है, क्या ये लड़ाई लड़ता रहेगा? आप पीछे नहीं हटेंगे?
हाँ, यही पीछे नहीं हटेंगे, न्याय चाहिए, न्याय मिलना चाहिए।
आप पर किसी ने कभी दबाव डाला है? आपके फैमिली पर कोई दबाव डाला है? क्योंकि इतना ये केस इतना बड़ा बन गया है, आपको कॉन्फिडेंस है कि कोई न्याय मिलेगा और कोई दबाव के बगैर मिलेगा?
गांव के जो आदमी, गांव के जो लोग हैं, उनको ये सब जो मुश्किलें हैं उनसे दबाव है और ये सब राजकीय दबाव था, ये इनके नजदीकी थे, इसलिए सभी ये दबाव तंत्र का प्यार उन्होंने निकाला था। ये बहुत गलत है और हमको अभी न्याय कब मिलेगा, हम उनके न्याय के इंतजार में।
एक आखिरी सवाल, देवेंद्र फडणवीस के शब्द पर आपका विश्वास है? मुख्यमंत्री ने कहा है वो किसी को बख्शेंगे नहीं, आपको उनके आश्वासन पर भरोसा है?
हम आशावादी है कि हमको न्याय मिलना चाहिए और न्याय मिलेगा।
Okay, that was the brother, Dhananjay Deshmukh, of the person who died tragically. I spoke to him earlier in Bid. I want to raise the big questions today, questions that are true of any part of the country, but particularly now in a state like Maharashtra. Has the criminal Neta Nexus been exposed? Are politicians now patronizing criminals, or have they become criminals themselves? Can this nexus be rooted out? Is a minister's resignation enough? Joining me now is Anjali Damania, anti-corruption activist. She's been among those who's been raising the red flag against Dhananjay Munde. Clyde Crasto is spokesperson NCP Sharad Pawar, and Brijbhushan Srivastav is spokesperson NCP, the Ajit Pawar faction to which Mr. Munde belongs. I want to come to you, Anjali Damania, first. Now that Dhananjay Munde has resigned, do you believe that there is accountability, that the system is showing that the Fadnavis government is acting?
Rajdeep, the first point is that at the moment, the charge sheet which has been filed does not make Dhananjay Munde accountable at all. Forget Dhananjay Munde. At the moment, even Valmik Karad, who is a close aide of Dhananjay Munde, has not been made really responsible. And I'm with absolute this. I'm saying this because in the charge sheet there are so many flaws, so many escape routes that are there and which are clearly visible. If you just see what is written in it, first, there is a conversation dated 29th November, which is between Valmik Karad and the person who is employed with Avada, the windmill company, which is setting up these windmills in Bid. And what is seen clearly is that he just threatens them that you better give us our money, and if you don't, we will stop your work. This was on 29th of November. This is mentioned in the chart sheet. Next, we hear about him on 7th December. So what happens is after this call, there was he sends his people to the area where the main office of Avada is set up, which is in Masazok, where this Sarpanch was killed. There is a massive fight which breaks out, and in that fight, Sarpanch tries to tell these people that look, we need this windmill project here because that is creating employment. Let us have this here. Don't ask for this kind of money or stop this, for God's sake. But the way it was done was absolutely cruel, I would say. So what happened was on 6th.
No, ma'am, I get it. Valmik Karad is the accused number one. He is close to Dhananjay Munde. Is that enough reason to make Mr. Munde an accused in the case?
Not at all. Rajdeep, if you would have seen what we've done in the last 3 months is that point by point I have exposed how Valmik Karad and Dhananjay Munde are partners in company. They are directors in common set of company. They have the same land holding. They have financial transactions happening between them. Not just that, today I have tweeted an FIR which has been filed by Valmik Karad, where he claims that he is the whole and soul of the office of the Mantri, that is Dhananjay Munde, which is in Parli. Not just that, I have exposed point by point on how there is an office of profit, how Mr. Dhananjay Munde has done scams after scams, and in every place Valmik Karad is involved. Whenever he is asked for money, extortion, whatever, Valmik Karad was an integral part of that.
Okay, I'm going to just explain to our viewers who Valmik Karad is. Accused number one in the murder of the Sarpanch Santosh Deshmukh, trusted aide of NCP MLA Dhananjay Munde, and we'll play shots of the two of them together. They were all the time together. He was known as Valmik Anna among his supporters, started as a worker in Gopinath Munde's office and has been associated with the Munde family for years and has been a municipal councillor in Parli several times, faces many criminal cases. Now, I want to go to the NCP Ajit Pawar group leader, who's joining me at the moment. Brijbhushan Srivastav, आप हमें बताइए, अगर वाल्मीकि कराड और धनंजय मुंडे बिजनेस पार्टनर्स हैं और वाल्मीकि कराड विंडमिल कंपनी से पैसा एक्सटॉर्ट करने जा रहे हैं और फिर मौत होती है एक सरपंच की जो ये एक्सटॉर्शन रोकना चाहते थे, तो धनंजय मुंडे का रोल तो इन्वेस्टिगेट होना पड़ेगा या नहीं, या उनको बचाने की कोशिश हो रही है?
राजदीप जी, सबसे पहले तो मैं जिस परिवार में ये हत्या हुई है, मैं सबसे पहले राष्ट्रवादी कांग्रेस पार्टी की तरफ से उसके लिए अपनी संवेदनाएं देना चाहता हूं। दूसरी बात, मैं इस बात को भी स्पष्ट करना चाहता हूं कि राष्ट्रवादी कांग्रेस पार्टी किसी भी प्रकार के क्राइम और क्रिमिनल के साथ नहीं है। हम लोग इस मामले में पूरी तौर से इस बात को देखते हैं कि किसी भी क्रिमिनल या क्राइम के साथ राष्ट्रवादी कांग्रेस पार्टी का कोई भी व्यक्ति दिखा।
तो फिर अगर आपका कोई लेना देना नहीं है तो आपके मंत्री ने आज रेजिग्नेशन क्यों दिया? और वो भी कहते हैं कि मैं हेल्थ रीजन से दे रहा हूं। सच्चाई ये है कि वाल्मीकि कराड और धनंजय मुंडे बिजनेस पार्टनर्स थे, ये सच्चाई है, और 3 महीने लगते हैं मंत्री को रेजिग्नेशन देने के लिए।
मैं आपकी बात से इतना सहमत हूं कि वो उनके साथ थे, साथ होने का मतलब कदापि यह नहीं है कि धनंजय मुंडे जी ने उनको इस बात के लिए प्रेरित किया है कि वो इस प्रकार का कृत्य करें। और वो एक इंडिपेंडेंट आदमी है जिसने जिन लोगों ने अपराध किया है, और किसी भी स्तर पर धनंजय मुंडे साहब ने या राष्ट्रवादी कांग्रेस पार्टी के किसी भी नेता ने पुलिस कार्रवाई के दौरान
तो उन्होंने रेजिग्नेशन क्यों दिया? अगर उन पर कोई दाग नहीं है, वो बिल्कुल साफ है, तो उन्होंने रेजिग्नेशन क्यों दिया?
ठीक कह रहे हैं। मैं देखिए, दो चीजें इस पे, एक जिन लोगों ने अपराध किया है वो, और दूसरा अगर किसी अपराधी के साथ किसी राजनेता का संबंध है वो, ये दोनों अलग अलग चीजें। धनंजय मुंडे साहब ने इस बात को महसूस किया कि जिस प्रकार से पुलिस ने वहां पे जांच की है और उन लोगों को पाया है कि वो अपराध में संलिप्त है, तो उन्होंने राजनेता होने के नाते अपनी जिम्मेदारी को महसूस करते हुए अपने आप को उस पद से हटाया है, जिससे ये आरोप ना लगे कि सरकार उनको किसी प्रकार का संरक्षण दे रही है। मैं एक बात को स्पष्ट करना चाहता हूँ, पुलिस के ऊपर किसी प्रकार का कोई दबाव नहीं था, इसीलिए ये जांच इतनी जल्दी पूरी हुई है। और जो 8 लोग हैं जो इसमें जुटे हुए हैं, उन लोगों को पुलिस ने पकड़ा है, सारे लोग गिरफ्तार हुए हैं।
मैं ये बात मैं क्लाइड क्रास्टो, truth of the matter is all those accused have been arrested. CID has filed a charge sheet. Even the photographs of the torture have been put in the charge sheet. In fact, that is what has shocked the conscience of many people. So in this instance, at least, it appears that the Maharashtra police is actually trying to track down those guilty.
Rajdeep, hear me out clearly. By arresting these people, nobody is doing a favor to anybody. This is the most disgusting crime that you can see. Your blood does not boil watching all these pictures, all the images. My blood boils. I mean, it's heart-wrenching. The point here is very simple. I'd like to thank Mrs. Anjali Damania for consistently, chasing this case. Point here is, are you trying to tell me that the Home Department a few months ago did not see these pictures? That Devendra Fadnavis, the Deputy CM, did not see these pictures? Suresh Das, during the session, winter session in December, very clearly kept on hinting there's a torture involved in this. Are you trying to say they did not know this? And let's look at the larger picture. Now, hear me out clearly. Let's look at the larger picture. The point here is very simple, Rajdeep, that the law and order situation, the fear of law in Maharashtra is declining completely. A few days ago, in Pimpri Chinchwad, a young girl is taken in the bus. Few days ago, a central minister's daughter is eve-teased while her bodyguards are there. You think of Badlapur, you see the hit-and-run case in Pune where pizzas were served in the police station, burgers were served in the police station. Worli hit-and-run case. You are not setting an example in this stage where all these criminals, all these goons who try to create a crime like this are not getting scared. Whereas the scare and the fear is on people who raise their voices. Santosh Deshmukh wanted employment and jobs for the people of Masajog and in Bid. His voice was silenced. Are you trying to say all of us, including you, me, Mrs. Anjali Damania, who speak our voices, are you going to stop our voices?
No, but the accused have been arrested, a charge sheet has been filed. What more do you want the Fadnavis government to do? They've arrested the accused and the minister has now resigned.
Fadnavis government has not done a favor. Fadnavis government is not doing a favor. I am saying you need to set a precedent and give the strictest of punishment to these kind of people. Nobody is doing a favor to anybody here. The point is very simple. The government, and one more thing, and Dhananjay Munde,
there is no shouting, no cross-talk.
Keep quiet. Keep quiet.
No, don't use words like keep quiet. I'm listening to you.
You know what is worse? The shape. No, I didn't say keep quiet to anybody. I said I kept quiet. Hear me out, Rajdeep. I said I kept quiet when you were speaking.
Go ahead.
I maintain my decorum. Okay, point here is Dhananjay Munde, so shamelessly has tweeted that he is resigning on health grounds. I mean, you don't have a heart or what? Your heart has died. Your soul is dead. After seeing these videos, you're saying that I'm resigning. Everybody in Bid, everybody in Maharashtra knows that Valmik Karad is the closest aide of Dhananjay Munde and they work together. So did he not know what was happening? Who are they trying to fool?
I just want to say this. I want to say this, that the video which has gone viral, the images are so troubling that we are not playing out that video. But Anjali Damania, you see, this same question comes to you. As an anti-corruption activist, you've done stellar work in putting the focus on this case. But the government will say, we've arrested the accused. The charge sheet has been put in place. Now, what more can the Fadnavis government do at this stage?
So, Rajdeep, let me tell the viewers some few facts which have not come before them. This whole incident, first, the fight happened on 6th, the murder happened on 9th, and this murder was the most gruesome murder that we've heard in the last few years, maybe. He was beaten up mercilessly by 6 people for 3 hours. For 3 hours, they were
But they've
hitting
all been
him. He
arrested.
was falling. No, just hear me out. So all this was happening. Someone peed on his face when he asked for water. And when were they arrested? They were not arrested initially. Arrests were made in parts. This Mr. Valmi Karad, who is the close aide of Dhananjay Munde, was absconding till 31st December. There was a hue and cry. People like us were parked in Bid. We fought tooth and nail. The people of Masazog, the Deshmukh family, they all fought. And after that, 30th December, Mr. Munde has a meeting with Fadnavis in the evening. And the next morning, this Mr. Valmi Karad surrenders. Just imagine, he surrenders in full media glare. And an announcement was made that he will be surrendering at this time. How does anybody know at what time? If he's absconding, how on the earth did they know at what time he would be surrendering? Forget that. Till 27th, this happened on 9th. Till 27th, no CID was in place. The SIT was set up. Announcement made on 17 December by the CM on the floor of the assembly, but the SIT was set up in the first week of January. Now, in first week of January, the CM made an announcement that he's meeting Mr. Ujjwal Nikam and appointing him as the official person who would fight this matter. His appointment did not happen for another 2 months. Again, we had to put up a strong fight. The residents of Masazog, the Gramastha there, they had to do an Anya Tyag Andolan. Only after that did they appoint.
You know,
and the charge sheet, as I said, was completely flawed. So if you say that it has been done by the Honorable Chief Minister, no, nothing of that sort was done.
You're saying it has been done under pressure. Either way, as of now, as of today, the accused have been arrested. But I will ask you this, Mr. Srivastava, मैं नहीं जानता आप OTT सीरियल्स देखते हैं कि नहीं. ये हम देखते थे उत्तर प्रदेश, बिहार में मिर्जापुर जैसे सीरीज में कि जिस तरह से पूरी तरह से क्राइम पॉलिटिशियन नेक्सस बढ़ा है. क्या आप मानते हैं इस पूरे घटना ने महाराष्ट्र की छवि को बहुत बड़ा नुकसान पहुंचाया? आप कहते हैं आप साफ सुथरी सरकार चाहते हैं और इस तरह के लोगों को आप पालते हैं जो म्युनिसिपल काउंसिलर बनते हैं और मंत्री के सबसे नजदीक होते हैं, उनके पार्टनर होते हैं.
देखिए, पार्टनर होना और क्राइम करना, ये दो, मैं फिर कह रहा हूं, ये दोनों अलग अलग चीज है. और ये कहना बिल्कुल गलत है कि धनंजय मुंडे जी के साथ कोई नेक्सस था इन क्रिमिनल्स का. कभी भी धनंजय मुंडे का कोई भी क्रिमिनल रिकॉर्ड नहीं है. वो लगातार राजनीति में है और एक राजनीतिक परिवार से है.
नहीं, क्या बात कर रहे हैं? उन पर कई आरोप लगे हैं, पहले भी लगे हैं. यही तो मुसीबत है. आप लोग झूठ क्यों बोलते हुए शो पर आकर? उन पर कई आरोप लगे हैं.
कह रहा हूं, जो उनके ऊपर आरोप है वो व्यक्तिगत रूप से दूसरे किस्म के आरोप है. इस प्रकार का अपराध का कोई आरोप उन पे नहीं है कि उन्होंने किसी को मारपीट की हो या किसी को मर्डर के लिए उन्होंने प्रेरित किया हो. तो मैं ये पॉलिटिकल परसेप्शन बनाया जा रहा है धनंजय मुंडे जी के खिलाफ. मैं फिर एक बात कहना चाहता हूं, हमारी सरकार किसी भी अपराधी को नहीं छोड़ेगी. और इस मामले
सर,
में
आप कह रहे नहीं छोड़ेगी, लेकिन सच्चाई ये है कि अगर पब्लिक का दबाव नहीं होता ये. बट क्लाइड क्रैस्टो, देयर इज अनदर वरिंग एंगल. ओबीसी वर्सेस मराठा. The accused, some of the accused are from OBC community. The person who died is Maratha, and there is a fear that caste antagonism will play out. I want to understand, the same individual, Dhananjay Munde, was part of NCP Sharad Pawar till 2 years ago. He was a close aide of Mr. Pawar as well, of Ajit Pawar and Sharad Pawar. Now he's with Ajit Pawar, so you're gunning for him.
No, it's not the point of gunning for somebody individually. A crime is a crime. There is no caste, religion, or individual involved. A criminal is a criminal. The point here is very simple. A shameless statement was given that, being a partner and somebody committing crime is a different thing. But that means, are you trying to say to you be a partner with a criminal is okay? That's how it's going to be. And let me tell you one thing. The Dhananjay Deshmukh you asked him a question saying that, are you okay? Do you think that, there'll be some kind of justice? I don't think there'll be justice. I'll tell you why. Because if Dhananjay Munde can tweet saying that I'm resigning on grounds of health, I'm telling you, these people will, brush it under the carpet. It took so many days.
Is that the fear?
Mentioned how overnight they met Fadnavis.
Is that, I get your point, right? Is that the fear, Anjali Damania?
It is going to happen.
The public memory is short. I am taking your point, Clyde Crasto. 1 minute. Let's not have crosstalk. Anjali Damania, the point is that the fear that once we move on to the next story, people will forget what really happened in Bede. Is that the fear? And Dhananjay Munde will come back into politics.
That's precisely what is going to plan out in the next few days. The way it happened with Sanjay Rathod, he's back in the ministry. Same thing might happen with Mr. Munde. But there's just one point which I need to bring across, Rajdeep. And that is when I said that these two were partners, and why we compared it and why Sahil also compared it with gangs of Vasepur is, there is a huge Mahagenco plant, thermal plant, which is in Parali district, which is Parali Taluka of Bede district, where Mr. Dhananjay Munde belongs, and there is a huge fly ash mafia that the two of them are running, and that is basically why the entire gang, this entire nexus of Valmik Karad is driving each and every business. They are into fly ash supply, into transportation, into asking for extortion from shops, from udyogs, from every given business. And that has been the order of Bede. And that is really, really dangerous. The people there are actually thanking us for it.
I want to also put this in context. I traveled to Bede during the Maharashtra election, and this is a district where maximum number of people, actually, particularly men and women, go for cane cutting to other districts because they do not have even employment. And when employment comes in the form of a windmill, then the extortion business begins. It is an absolute shame what has happened. And therefore, for anyone who wants to know what has happened to this country's criminal politician nexus, just turn to Bede. A minister has been forced to resign only because of public pressure. But how many more will get away? And will Dhananjay Munde come back into politics all smiling, or into the government all smiles after a few months? We will keep track of this story, because Maharashtra is the industrial capital of the country, and to allow this kind of criminal politician nexus to go on will only damage Maharashtra. We will be watching, and we hope that the Devendra Fadnavis government acts at every stage against the accused. I appreciate my guests joining me here on our top talking point tonight. I want to turn from there to what we are calling the Trump tracker. That's right. The American president every day creates headlines. The latest, the US has imposed a 25% tariff now on Mexico and Canada. It comes into effect from today. The US has doubled the tariff on all Chinese imports to 20% from 10%. China has retaliated by slapping a 15% and 10% tariff on many items. Canada to impose over $100 billion in tariffs on US goods. Trump, meanwhile, has also taken another big move today, paused military aid to Ukraine. He's also issued a ban on illegal campus protests. So Donald Trump making all the headlines once again. And all of this coming days after that heated face-off between him and Ukrainian President Zelensky. Trump said that he has put a pause on US aid. This while Putin and Russia continues to bomb Ukraine's energy infrastructure. It's our other top story.
Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
The explosive Trump-Zelensky meeting snowballs into a big diplomatic war. Days after the heated argument in the White House, Trump hits a pause on military aid for Ukraine to pressurize Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky to engage in peace talks with Russia.
Well, I just think he should be more appreciative, because this country has stuck with them through thick and thin. We've given them much more than Europe, and Europe should have given more than us, because, as you know, that's right there, that's the border. I want all of those young people to stop being killed. They're being killed by the thousands every single week, and that's not young people from the United States, but it's on a human basis. I want to see it stop.
Trump said Zelensky should be more appreciative of US military aid in the Russia-Ukraine war, and both countries should make a deal and put a stop to all the killings.
You know, of course they have their views, and of course they're not always going to agree with us, but they've got to participate in the conversation. They weren't willing to do that on Friday, so the president said send him home. The president is actually taking a much more realistic perspective and saying this can't go on forever. We can't fund this thing forever. The Ukrainians can't fight forever, so let's bring this thing to a peaceful settlement.
The pause by Trump government freezes shipments to Ukraine, including critical munitions such as anti-tank weapons, thousands of artillery rounds and rockets, which keeps the country afloat in its war against Russia. US has provided $31.7 billion for military aid to Ukraine in August 2021. Zelensky has also got 12,000 anti-armor systems, over 1,550 anti-aircraft missiles from NATO allies. Apart from $34.8 billion for border control, anti-terrorism ops and demining operations from the US. US in 2025 gave Ukraine $65.9 billion in military assistance, $69.2 billion in military assistance around February 2024.
The lack of security guarantees for Ukraine 11 years ago allowed Russia to begin with the occupation of Crimea and the war in Donbass. Later, the absence of security guarantees enabled Russia to launch a full-scale invasion. And now, due to the lack of clear security guarantees, Russia is keeping this war ongoing. The world sees this, and the whole world acknowledges it.
While stopping military aid for Ukraine, Trump has decided to give relief to Russia. US is drawing up a plan to give Russia relief from sanctions as
we're going to have to break into our regular news bulletin because the big news is coming from Dubai. That's right. India has stormed into the 2025 Champions Trophy final, avenged in a way, some would say, their defeat to Australia in 2023. India has won and reached the Champions Trophy final against beating Australia by 4 wickets in the semi-finals. India now will await the winner of the match between New Zealand and South Africa that will take place. Let's go straight across to Nikhil Naz, our consulting sports editor. He's joining us with Sunil Gavaskar. Let's get their quick reactions. Big day for India, Nikhil. The fact is we've avenged that defeat in the World Cup final 2023.
Okay, thanks for that, Rajdeep. Yes, it's a massive win for India, but as we had been saying right from the start, it will be a close call at the end of the day. This is an Australian team. They did have some moments, but overall, I think the better team came out trumps on the given day. Delighted to be joined by none other than Sunil Gavaskar on this program, and that's the question that actually came from the studio. Rajdeep is there. He says, have we avenged the defeat for that 2023 World Cup final?
No, I don't think we should be talking in terms of revenge and stuff like that. Sport, there will always be matches which one team wins, the other team wins. When Federer and Djokovic or Federer and Nadal play against each other, if they've lost in one major final, it is not that they're going to have a revenge for the next final. They just got to accept that this is just a sport. This revenge ki bhasha chhod dijiye, bhaiya. Just let us enjoy sport as it is.
Okay, not looking at it as a revenge match, but there were butterflies in our stomach simply because of that. What happened at the last time in an ODI? Yes, you beat them in a T20 encounter, but I'm sure it must have been back of their heads what happened in a crucial knockout game. This was also a knockout.
No, I don't think so. Look, believe you me, these kind of things do not stay in the minds of the players. I think maybe the fans think about it. Players are now so used to, a good player, I keep talking about a good batter is not going to think about the previous delivery, what happened, he was beaten or a catch was dropped. He's going to focus on the next delivery. He'll be careful about the next delivery because he's had that little escape. A bowler, if he's hit for a 6 or a boundary, he will also be just a little touch nervous, but he's not going to keep on thinking what happened the previous. So that's what happens with teams as well. Teams don't think back on what happened, a year and a half ago. They're just focused on the next game and the next day.
Okay, what do you think was the major difference between that final and this semi-final? Do you think it was a depleted Australian team? Do you think, no, it was a different mindset that the Indian team came? Do you think it were different conditions or a different tournament? What do you think were the major differences from that final?
Well, different teams completely, because when you have a situation where the Australian team is minus Pat Cummins, their skipper, who won the World Cup, there was Mitchell Starc, then there was also Josh Hazlewood. All three key players were missing from the attack. Now when you have three key players missing from their attack, it does mean that defending even 285 to another 20 runs would not have been easy. It would have been close again. The fact that we went so close, the match went so close without these three bowlers being available, just tells you, yes, the Australians missed it.
Okay, let's talk about the man of the moment, Virat Kohli stepping up, 84. The two most crucial games India has played in this tournament, one of course against Pakistan. You know, it's a built-up contest. They're arch rivals. They won against Australia, again, modern day rivalry, the greatest rivalry. What is it about Virat that, you know, comet the hour, comet the man?
Also, I think the situation. The moment Rohit Sharma got out, he realized that as a senior man, it's his responsibility to shepherd the Indian team to safety. And that's exactly what he did. If he had got out at that stage, the Australians would have, been all over India. So he realized that his wicket was crucial. So he tempered his batting. He did not take any chances. Yes, there was one lofted shot, which was, maybe the ball didn't quite come, but it was with a straight bat, very safe shot, way away from that fielder. But the way he tempered, didn't go the aerial route at all, because there was no need to, unless it was pitch short and there was no fielder there. So batted with so much conviction, batted with so much responsibility, and he took India to a position of safety. Frankly, I was surprised at the way he got out, because, maybe he got a bit carried away in the same over. Rahul had hit a splendid straight six, and he thought it was the wrong one. He picked the wrong one, all right, but it didn't turn as much. And because it didn't turn as much, it went straight. If it had turned a little bit, it would have gone between those two fielders, and it would have been a boundary. But that's what cricket is.
And guess what else is turning? My hair, because it's so breezy here. We've got camera shaking as well. There's a pole next to us shaking. It's quite breezy here in Dubai. Okay, breezy was also Virat Kohli's knock. I know that, if we get into the debate of who's the ODI batter, we could come on. There's so many greats that have played the game. My question to you is, have you seen a better calculator in chase, like how to approach a chase and how to execute that, than Virat Kohli in the ODI format?
Well, there are so many wonderful players over the years, and they played in different conditions, different attacks. They played with the red ball, with no restriction on the bouncers, and all those things. So once again, you're asking for a comparison, and I'm not going to fall for that. I'm not going to fall for the comparison bet at all. But let me tell you, he's one of the greatest. There's no question about it.
Yeah.
He's one of the greatest. Somebody who scored 51 hundreds in one-day cricket, more than anybody else, just tells you what a wonderful, wonderful player India is blessed to have with him.
My actually intention wasn't to compare him with other generation batters. I only want to focus on his ability to chase.
Correct, but the moment
what makes him different?
The moment you ask, is he the greatest, you're asking for a comparison.
No.
So I think what we should do is we should be very happy with what he's achieving for India. The amount of finals he's getting India into, the amount of finals that he's winning for India. So I think contributing to winning for India, that is what we should enjoy.
I'm not again focusing on the greatest. I want to know one of the finest chasers. I just want to focus on the fact his ability to chase and calculate chases as well.
He's called the chase master for a reason, like you said, because he's able to calculate what is the pace at which he needs to bat, when to take a chance, when to maybe just play a couple of dot balls, when to tire out a bowler, when to say this bowler is going to be the danger man, let us play him, even if we don't score too many of him, there are other bowlers we can make up for. So that kind of thinking which is required, the temperament, that is what he definitely has.
Talk to us a bit about his adaptation versus spin, because we had seen this in white ball, especially coming into this tournament. We saw it in the series against England, and overall looking at the record as well, spinners were getting the better of of him. But we've seen him in that game against Pakistan. Even today, I know not that experienced bunch of spinners, but Zampa has been the one that has troubled him in the past. Have you seen some changes in how he's now playing the spinners vis-a-vis maybe 5-6 games ago?
He's not really getting a little too committed onto the front foot in the sense he's not pushing a lot of the ball. He's waiting for the ball to do a little bit and then making that late adjustment. So that's been one of the things that we have seen from him. Opened his stance up just a little bit as well, whereby he's able to see where the ball is pitching on the leg stump, maybe then to play the sweep shot. He very seldom plays the sweep. We saw him sweep a boundary today. That just tells you that when it was needed, he was able to bring out a shot which was probably kept in cold storage, bring it out productively.
Okay, I'm not going to forget the supporting cast. Yes, Virat may have gotten the most amount of runs. But again, Shreyas Iyer chipping in last game, chips in with a 45. Then you've got a Hardik Pandya chipping in towards the death as he had done in the previous game. KL Rahul, probably one of those ones that had been under the radar, but plays a very crucial inning here. Is this actually demonstrating the strength of this Indian team? Because they don't have one or two match winners. From number 1 to number 7 or even 8, you have batters that can win you the game.
I mean, the batting depth that this Indian team has is, one which gives everybody a comfort level. But despite Kohli getting out at that stage, and it was pretty much, run a ball at that stage, there was the confidence of Hardik Pandya will come and do it. When required, he'll hit the sixes. And that's exactly what happened. He hit 2 back-to-back sixes of Adam Zampa, the dangerous bowler. And therefore, made the game look very, very easy.
I am now taking all of our viewers back to the Pakistan game, because as the same gentleman next to me, Sunil Gavaskar, we were talking about the Pakistan game, and I asked you how the Indian team is looking, and you had said, I don't know if you remember, you said we are playing the final in Dubai. That happened right after the Pakistan game.
Last Sunday.
Yes, and they are going to be playing the final. Just tell me, what is it that you saw about this Indian team that made you so confident? Now that your prediction has come absolutely correct.
Well, what I saw about this team was the confidence that it had. What I saw about this team was having played against England in the T20 as well as the one-dayers just before coming here. The combination that was there, where the captain had so many options. The bowling options were 6 bowling options. The batting had depth. The fielding had improved. And all in all, I think it looked like a very well-oiled unit. And when required, the engine was just purring. And when required, the engine, the accelerator could be pressed, and you could go even further.
Okay, I'm going to go now to the first half of the inning. 260 odd. You had said it's a competitive total. We discussed in the mid innings. What was it? Was it the inexperience of the Aussie bowlers, or do you think on the day the pitch was good enough for India to chase it?
I think the pitch was good. We saw that when the Australians were batting. We said that this is a new pitch. It's the same square, but it was a new pitch. The previous 3 matches were played on different pitches. So this was a completely new pitch, and where the ball was coming onto the bat a little bit better than it did on the other days, and which meant that even the Australians, when they were batting, you saw the way they were playing through the line because the ball was coming. There wasn't much spin for the spinners. There wasn't much spin for the wrist spinner. So the batters didn't really have to worry too much of the ball doing anything. You could, when the ball is not moving around, then you can play through the line. So even if you don't middle it, you'll get an inside edge. Very, very little chances of you missing the ball completely, getting bowled. Today, if you had a couple of bowls, it was because the ball was a little bit slow and there was an inside edge. Shubman Gill's inside edge, and then there was, I think, Akshar Patel's inside edge as well.
Okay, I'm going to continue the conversation with Mr. Gavaskar, but if my director is listening, I've lost the connection with you, so do connect back with me so I know how long do we carry on for. But meanwhile, just continuing our conversations, I think you're on a roll in terms of prediction. One, play 4 spinners. They've been playing 4. Said they'll reach the final. Believe you me, I'd asked him to pick a bowler to watch out for in this game today, and I thought that was a left field selection. You went with Mohammad Shami.
Well, because he's been, his rhythm's been so good in the earlier matches, and he's fit, he's raring to go. When you get to an age in your early 30s, mid-30s, you want to get your rhythm. And the moment we saw that with him coming in the Pakistan game, the way he was running in, no balls, just generally bowling, the seam position, when the ball is leaving the hand, the seam is so upright. All that means that the man is in confidence. The more number of overs you have under your belt, the better you are because you're confident of your rhythm. The most worrying factor in any format of the game, but more so in a limited overs game, is a no ball because there's a free hit. Also, apart from the extra delivery and the extra run, there's a free hit. So bowlers are worried. So the moment they get their rhythm right, when they know that they are going to be bowling within the limit, they can increase their speed as well.
Right.
And once you start increasing your speed, the ball goes that much quicker, and you are causing problems for the batters.
Okay. Overall, the Indian bowlers' performance. Do you think while we look at the Indian team doing such a fine job, do you think the Indian bowlers as well? Okay, I'm getting some direction. We'll go back to the studios and come back and speak to Mr. Gavaskar.
I'm going to come back to you in a moment, Nikhil, but we've got two other World Cup winners, one in 83, one in 2011 with us. Kapil Dev, the one and only Kapil Dev has been listening in. Kapil Paji, this win as clinical as it gets, your thoughts?
I think excellent the way they played cricket. I think Australia, given a chance, they might get 290 or 285, but they put the brakes there and push back Australia to the last end. So, I must say that Indian bowlers played very well. Playing with a four-spinner was something really. You need guts to play with that, and I think all the four bowlers done extremely well. And top of that, I think Indian batsmen played very sensible. We always say till the 40th over, top four batsmen, one have to be there till the 40, and if he can stay later than that, most likely they can win the matches. And they played very sensible cricket despite of Virat Kohli not making 100 when he reached so close. It's very rare. What a fabulous cricketer he is.
In fact, that was my next question, Kapil Paji. The chase was set up for Team India by Virat Kohli. I mean, there is something about Virat Kohli in ODI cricket when he's chasing runs. He just seems to know how to control an innings.
I think he has a temperament. He take a bigger challenge, and that's where he get the energy. He like to play like that, and very few cricketers have that temperament. But end of the day, he has the talent, he has the class. The temperament is the most important. How to win the matches, we know Dhoni used to do that, but I think Virat Kohli is one step ahead of anybody else.
Is it safe to say then, Kapil Paji, that India is unstoppable in this Champions Trophy on that wicket in Dubai, New Zealand versus South Africa? We should be favourites, whoever wins the other semi?
I think till you don't win, you don't talk about that. You have to still play very hard. At the moment, it looks India have more chances, but never ever rule out any team in Champions Trophy or one-day cricket, or these days in T20. So any team can bounce back, or the opposition who is coming into the final, they also have that ability to beat anybody at given day.
Thank you, sir. Let me go from the great Kapil Paji to another, as I said, World Cup winner Harbhajan Singh. Clinical win, is that the best way to explain this? India was never really looking like they would lose.
Unbelievable. This is so good to see the domination of Indian batting lineup, how well they played against this unit. Australia, obviously, you can't really say that they were the best team in this competition because they lost three of their main seamers. They were not playing, and this was probably one of their weakest side. But yet, Australia being Australia, they could take the game away. But India was too good for them. Kohli was brilliant. Our bowling was brilliant. I think India played a fantastic game, and of course, it was long due that we beat Australia in 50 overs format, because this was the team which took that cup away from us in 23. So now this is our turn. So we have played really well, and well done to each and every member of the team. One more match to go, guys. One more match to go. The cup is ours.
One more match to go. The cup is ours. India last won the Champions Trophy in 2013. But I want to go back to Nikhil, who is with Sunil Gavaskar, to just ask one question. Mr. Gavaskar, would you say that, and Nikhil, that what we are seeing really is a champion Indian white ball team? And the reason I'm saying it, I saw this same Indian team against New Zealand a few months ago, against Australia in Australia. They were struggling. But the moment they are in white ball, whether it's T20 or 50 overs, they just seem unbeatable. Is that the way we should see it? We have a great white ball team at the moment, the best in the world. Even if those three seamers were there, you'd reckon, from Australia, you'd reckon advantage India. With this team, with the options and the flexibility we have, 4 spinners and a wonderful batting lineup that goes down to number 9.
We've got Rajdeep in the studio. He's got a couple of questions. I'll break them down. First bit, he wants to know, do you reckon that even though we've had a few reverse, we have probably the best white ball team in the world at the moment?
Well, certainly the way the combination is, the kind of option that we have, the kind of bench strength that is there, you definitely would say that India has got probably the best white ball team in the game. The T20 format as well, the Indian team's got a superb combination. So many all-rounders, makes a big difference. You look at the winners of the championship, the limited overs championship. Invariably, the captain that has got so many all-rounders in the team, they've gone on to win.
The other part of his question was, assuming, and we did speak about a depleted bowling attack for Australia, assuming those 3 fast bowlers were also around, still they would have found it tough to beat this Indian team?
Well, that means, if I'd not shaven today, then I would have had a beard. That is the kind of thing you're asking. What kind of a question is that, I don't know. I mean, this is just a question. I mean, I did say that the Australians were a little bit depleted because they didn't have their captain, their regular captain. Cummins wasn't there. Under him, the Australians won the World Cup. Didn't have Mitchell Starc, didn't have Josh Hazelwood. So 3 guys who were not there. So clearly, yes, they would have caused a few problems considering, the match went so close.
Okay, let's talk about India's bowling and not about the bowlers that aren't around. And India's bowling, would you say that while we look at the batters and credit them for their performance, the Indian bowling ensured that Australia finished with a below par total, because at one point it looked like they could be touching 300.
Definitely. I think, the way the Indians bowled was absolutely superb. The captaincy also was terrific because the Steve Smith dismissal was the key. The Steve Smith dismissal was the key, and that's where the field placing had an effect, because he had a fielder in the 30-meter circle at mid-on and in the 30-meter circle at mid-on, which is what forced the Steve Smith to go down the pitch and look to hit over the top, and he missed that ball and was bowled. So otherwise we might have had to chase another 30-40 runs the way Smith was batting. So yes, and then the way the Indian bowlers bowled, the way they brought the game back. You had a Kuldeep Yadav also bowling well. Varun Chakravarti was terrific. Mohammad Shami was terrific. Everywhere. New ball bowlers as well as your spinners. They did a fabulous job.
Well, looking at ifs and buts, again at the Australian team, have you seen a more sloppy fielding performance from an Australian team?
Surprising, yes.
Yeah?
The catches that were dropped, that's something that you don't normally associate with an Australian team. 3 catches being dropped, not something that you see regularly, no.
Okay, that was another factor that probably went against an Australian team, but then that is it. A team's performance is sum of its part. Everything that you put in, whether it's fielding, bowling or batting, as we have seen, and which is the reason why the Indian team has now reached the final. Looking at the final side, right, it is, if I'm not mistaken, the 5th final that India would be playing in the Champions Trophy. 2000, 2002, 13, 17, yeah, 5th final that India is playing in the Champions Trophy. Clearly a tournament that suits this Indian team. We used to call it the mini World Cup at one point.
Yes, because it's another 50 overs tournament, and this is where you have the top 8 teams, ranked top 8 teams invited for this tournament. So this is actually probably a lot more competitive than a World Cup where you have some of the associate teams coming in who are okay but not as competitive as you would expect. So this is probably a tougher competition. Also because with only 8 teams divided into 2 groups of 4, You lose one match, you're on the back foot. You're under pressure. To be able to therefore cope with it and then come to the final is a huge achievement.
Okay, one of the best team of this tournament has made it to the final. That's the Indian team. They're undefeated so far. Who's the second best team? Who's joining them?
That we will find out tomorrow evening.
Who's looked like the second best team so far?
Well, the second best team, I mean, has been South Africa because they again have a very good bowling lineup. Again, like India, they've got options. They've got good spinners. They bat deep down. They've got Marco Jansen batting at number 8 or thereabouts. So they've got somebody deep down. So that therefore it is going to be, in case South Africa do get through tomorrow, then it is going to be a tremendous fun come Sunday.
All right, we'll let Mr. Gavaskar go. These were his thoughts right after the game is done. We are live here at the Dubai International Stadium. It's over to Rajdeep in the studio to carry on our programming. We're going to be live for the next 1 hour or so and talking about India's win.
Can you ask him how does he look the same in like?
Well, I think we've got our good news today, story of the day. I don't need to have another good news report because India has reached the finals of the Champions Trophy and the big final will take place on Sunday. We all hope that Team India can win that tournament and then, in a way, hold both two of the three major white ball trophies, the World T20 last year and this year, hopefully, the Champions Trophy.